How do, cockle? So, been looking through Facebook. Probably not such a good idea, to be fair. Lots and lots of people out there are doom mongering. So not just on social media, you've got the likes of the mainstream media. Everything on telly is bad news, you know, or interest rates, you know, going potentially higher than 18% and all this sort of stuff beyond next year, massive job losses, you know, fuel prices shooting through the roof, all this sort of good stuff. Yeah, I get it, okay. We're going through tough times, there's no doubt about it. I've noticed people on exterior cleaning pages on Facebook or window cleaning forums, etc., talking about how they're going to navigate their way through these treacherous times that are coming upon us, as if it is the coming of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I would just interject and say, in my humble opinion, I don't think it's going to be the be all and end all. You know, I don't see it as being the apocalypse in terms of, you know, businesses and all this sort of stuff. Yes, of course, there will be job losses. Yes, of course, there will be, you know, sort of increased costs, etc., and all this sort of stuff. And people like us that run exterior cleaning businesses will probably find maybe customers decide to spend their money elsewhere or really watch what they're spending the pennies on. But it's by no means, you know, apocalyptic. It's not all doom and gloom. You're always going to find someone that wants to take you on for the work that you do. I would just caution anybody that thinks it's, you know, it's going to be the end of the world, or sort of, or your business will sort of fail. As long as you're working hard to bring in new customers and good customers that pay, you're not going to be far off succeeding. And it might take you a bit longer than you thought to grow your business and all this sort of stuff. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to, you know, sort of take it by the scruff of the neck and sort of make it work. Now, am I worried myself in my business? No, I'm not. And the simple reason I'm not worried is because we have a good customer base of people who, you know, have a good disposable income, etc., who, you know, are not hard up for cash. The sorts of customers you're probably going to lose are the ones that's going to make cuts in the first place. So, for example, the sorts of customers that will come off your rota more often than not will be, you know, the single mum families, or the people working minimum wage jobs, etc. Look, and I get that. And all I'm saying is if I've been there, I'm sure most of us have, where if you are on minimum wage, you're not going to want to spend money on someone else coming out to do work on your house. And, you know, all I would say is the customer doesn't think necessarily like you do. If you're a high-flying executive, right, and you're working 60 hours a week, okay, are you truly going to dust the ladder off out the garage and go and clean your own windows on the weekend? Or are you going to spend what little time you have with your family? If you have a disposable income, you are more likely to say, oh, you know what, mate, you do it and just send me the invoice, I'm not bothered. Yes, because that job will take me about 10 minutes to do. With the equipment that we have, it'll probably take about 10 minutes to do, or 15 or 20 minutes or half an hour, whatever. That's how long the job's going to take. If for someone that hasn't got the specialist equipment or the skill, yeah, it will probably take them longer and they won't do as good a job. And they're sacrificing their time with their family. So do you honestly think that these sorts of people are going to be the ones that sort of, you know, say, oh, actually, Chris, we don't need you, mate. Don't you know, come back when we've got more pennies in the bank. Behave yourself. The thing is that, yes, people at the bottom are suffering. People at the bottom always suffer. It's the reason why a lot of us became self-employed in the first place. All I would say is that mentality of, you know, ooh, hard times, we've got to hold on to what we've got and all this sort of stuff, and ooh, we've got to watch how we spend the pennies and all this sort of jazz. Yes, you might be thinking that in your personal circumstances, as a newly minted self-employed bod, you might be thinking that. But that does not mean that the customer that you're taking on thinks like that. So long as you can make sure you have enough customers with disposable income to spend money and keep you going, keep your cash flow going, then happy days. But things, are far from bleak in most cases. Okay, so I'm gonna be that dissenting voice in the wind, saying it's not all doom and gloom. Okay, we're gonna be okay, and so long as you've got a nice diverse set of customers. So for argument's sake, right, we have, like I've mentioned, we have executives, people who are executives or in management, etc., management positions. They have disposable income, generally speaking, if they drive a nice car and all that kind of stuff. They live in a decent sized house, what have you. Okay. There's pensioners as well. Their income, generally speaking, is not affected massively by inflation and stuff like that. They have their pension. A lot of them are mortgage free. Okay, and yes, the bills might go up, etc., but a lot of them, the ones I'm speaking to, certainly are saying to me that, oh, well, we'll just keep going and see what happens. The thing is, and you have to understand as well, for those of you out there saying, oh, well, it's all right for you, Chris, pensions in your area and all this sort of jazz, blah, blah, things are all right in your area. I live on the Fylde coast. Blackpool is geographically the poorest region of mainland UK, and it's second only to Belfast in terms of poverty. So the thing is, it's not a case of, oh, it's all right if you're in the south of the country, this, and you're in the north of the country. Bollocks, excuse my French. Okay, I live in the poorest region in mainland UK, and I'm still able to grow a business and still able to take more customers on. Even now, there are people saying yes that the bills are going up and all this sort of stuff, but they're not going to dust the ladder off and go and do it themselves. Yes, you're going to lose a couple, but you're not going to lose your entire round unless your entire round is made up of people on minimum wage, who may lose their jobs or who may sort of, decide actually it's an unnecessary expense. And all I would say is if that is you, then go out there and expand your round to include people like pensioners, like executives, like management, etc., self-employed business owners, and all this sort of good stuff. You know what I mean? Talk to housing associations, talk to hotels, talk to B&Bs, talk to freaking shop fronts, whatever. If it's got glass, clean it, yeah? Or at least make them aware that you offer that service. And you will pick a couple of these customers up, but you need to diversify your business. The sorts of people who are flapping like the proverbial willy in a shirt sleeve, yeah, are the ones that have got minimum wage workers, in one big lump sum sort of thing like that. And if, there's the smallest change in their household expenditure, then you get thrown to the curb. But if you've got a diverse rota with different sorts of people on your round, then, for example, during COVID, I had a lot of businesses on my rota, and I was quite top heavy. I had a lot of businesses, cafes, restaurants, bars, cinemas, gyms, the lot. Okay, well, when the lockdown happened, bang, 45% of my round gone. That was a mistake. If you can operate your business so that there is as little disruption as possible, if one end of the scale tips the other, you're going to be golden. So all I would say is stop buying into this absolute circus that the mainstream media is trying to whip us all up into. Just think for a minute. Just think, or I just wish people would learn to think for themselves just a little bit and just question what's been sent your way. So anyway, I'm not going to rant anymore, put the world to rights, but I'm just here to say, keep doing what you're doing, guys. Keep gathering customers, keep growing your business, okay? And what will be, okay? If people want to come off your list because they can't afford it, then wish them well and just simply say to them, if things change, you know where I am, okay? And then don't make it personal. Do not get in a strop with people because you're all of a sudden losing money. I've been there, okay? Just simply smile and say, not a problem, I completely understand. If you need me in future, you know where we are. And trot on and find someone that wants your service. That's all I would say. So anyway, on that rather sort of positive light, yeah, keep on keeping on. I'll see you guys in the next video. All the very best.